You know, for most people, their favorite thing to do to pass time is scrolling on the internet. And oftentimes, you're comfortable where you are. But from time to time, you're going to scroll past these videos of people who are living the life you want. Maybe they are a financial guru that wanted you to buy their how to get rich course or get you to buy whatever it is that they're selling. But oftentimes, seeing these videos always stings you inside because you're not where you want to be, and they remind you where you could have been. And then you get a splurge of motivation, thinking you need to quit wasting time and focus. But then, every time when you start to focus, you always end up in the same old routine as you were. And you always tend to go back to your original habits. Then you start to question the possibility of being successful. Then you start to blame the obstacles that stop you from achieving your goal. But when you actually look deep within yourself and think, maybe it's because I'm lazy. And so you click on this video or any other video with the same topic, thinking that these videos will fix your laziness. Thinking that there's a magical pill or a different idea that you can adapt to make you see and think differently so that this time you can actually start to make a change. But when you're finished watching these videos, they give you a solution and your brain starts to calculate and make the decisions on whether or not to follow through with whatever solutions that you're given, because it's not an emergency for you to act. It's not like you're gonna die if you don't change, right? So why bother? Why push yourself? So you'll save the video and think you'll act when you're ready, or for lack of better words, when you feel like it. Then, after you're done consuming content about success and self-improvement, you stood up and did 10 push-ups and thinking that you've done something great. Because in the video it says, one small step is better than nothing, right? You know, very few people actually do exactly what they're told or carry out the solutions provided, because most people, after they understand the amount of work and effort required, they think it's not worth it. They think it's too risky and a waste of time. The majority of people don't want to change. They just want to feed the feeling of success by watching more and more self-improvement videos because, one, they think if they have high aspirations, then they're in a better place than the majority of people because most people lack ambition, let alone the effort it takes to change. So they know that if you have higher goals than most people, then you automatically have a head start than most people. And two, because they're ambitious but also lazy. So they think that if they give a little effort, if they just try a little bit, then they have an excuse to fail. So they don't really want to succeed. They just want the excuse on why they couldn't make it so that people will give them sympathy. That's what they want. They're looking for a way out. They don't want other people to look at them as losers or shame them. They just want to fit in. They just want to try enough. So when they come across a difficult problem, they can then use that problem as an excuse on why they fail. I've noticed this pattern within most people that I came across is that you can tell if a person is lazy in their rate of speech. Like, a person that is lazy usually talks very slow and works very slow. Not that there's anything wrong with talking slow and working slow, but often when you get to know them, they're just lazy in general. They're just very relaxed and chill, and that's how they approach life. So then, the real question is, why is it that you're ambitious but lazy? And can you become ambitious and not lazy, so you can actually work to achieve your goal? Now, assuming that I'm talking to a human being here, we have to look back on how the ancient humans behaved to find out why we think and act the way we do. So back then, people weren't lazy, or at least weren't a couch potato like you are, because they were constantly out looking for food, hunting for their next meal, looking for shelter, expanding their territory, increasing their likelihood of survival, etc. They're doing everything they can to survive and reproduce. And in doing so, they get rewarded each time they achieve their goal. Their brain produces dopamine, the feel-good chemical. It's like the nature way of saying, do more of that because it helps you survive. That's mainly where ambition comes from. Like, You thought about chasing the prey, you chased the prey, you caught and ate the prey, then your brain rewards you with fulfillment. Ambition also links to getting better and having more because it ensures not only your survival, but also your people. Like hunters aim to catch a bigger prey because it feeds more people, and craftsmen aim to create better tools because it gets work done faster. So then, ambition becomes an inherent human trait because it gives you status. So the reason why you're ambitious is because it's a passed down trait from early humans. But then, why is it that you're lazy? Why are you not able to use ambition like the early humans to gain status and actually make a change? The simple answer is our environment. We don't need to use ambition in order to survive anymore. You could live comfortably just fine by being lazy. You're not inconvenienced in any way by being lazy. You live comfortably without having to worry where your next meal is going to come from. If ambition is what gives you the drive for you to go out, hunt down, chase, catch, and eat your prey so that you can get a feel-good chemical in your brain, then what if we can just skip all that middle section and just get the reward? Like, just DoorDash and have someone else deliver your food to your door. It still counts, right? Your brain will still release its dopamine, the feel-good chemical, when you eat the food. So why bother? This is exactly why you're ambitious but lazy. Like, your ambition is telling you, I want this and I'm willing to work and get this. But modernity is telling you, you don't have to work for it. I'll just give you the dopamine, the feel-good chemical of having the thing, and it's much easier. Modernity is signaling to you that I don't want to work for it. However, I can still have it. And what happens when you get what you want the moment you want it? You no longer need ambition, because ambition is what fuels your action. Now, I'm not saying that you can get everything you want the moment you want it, because obviously it's not everything. But I'm saying that your basic survival needs are met easily. And the sole purpose of ambition is to motivate you to go out there and get things, to achieve things, to survive. So what happens now is that your brain is pumping out ambition for you to do something, but your basic survival needs are already met. That's why you're feeling the way you feel right now. So how do we become ambitious and not lazy? Well, first we must understand why. Why do you want to become ambitious and not lazy? Is it because you want to achieve your goal, achieve success, getting in shape, make more money, financial freedom? But you have to narrow it down and ask yourself, why do you want to achieve success? Why do you want to make more money? Why do you want to get in shape? You have to ask yourself the right question. Because when you ask people, why do you want to make more money? And they go, oh, I want the freedom of my time. Okay, then what are you gonna do with the freedom of your time? And they say, oh, I want to travel around the world. I want to go on vacations. So then you ask them, well, can you do that without making more money? And truthfully, the answer is yes, because all you have to do is to save up a little longer. So then realistically, they would rather save up and go on that vacation and forget about making money instead, because it's easier. Well, what about if you want to get in shape? Well, there's no shortcut to getting in shape. Well, why do you want to get in shape? Is it because you want to impress that girl? Get a girlfriend? Well then, can you get a girlfriend without getting in shape? Well, yes, then that becomes the best option, because getting in shape is a lot harder than simply getting a girlfriend. So when you ask the right question, then you'll realize that you don't really want the things you want. You just want the feeling of that outcome. And it's easier to simply get that artificial feeling than it is to go through all the work. And that's what most people choose. So in order to put your ambition to work, you need to clearly identify what it is that you want. And it can't be replaced by whatever artificial feeling that you can get from something else. So you need a better reason. So for example, I want to get in shape. Well, why do you want to get in shape? I want to get in shape because I want to see what happens if I don't quit. That was actually my reason when I first started and I feel like quitting. And once you've clearly identified what it is that you want, you need to make plans on how you're going to get there. And this step is where most people are stuck, because they want their plan to be perfect. They want their work and effort to count. So they fall into this deep rabbit hole of constantly researching, preparing, procrastinating, because in their mind they think, if I'm gonna put in all this work and effort, then I better make sure it's good so I can get something out of it. This is wage slave mentality. You want to get paid for the amount of work you do, which is fair. But that's a huge mistake and a bad mindset when it comes to getting in shape, making money, entrepreneurship, starting a business, because in the beginning, you don't know anything yet. So your hard work and effort will not be rewarded because you're still learning and improving. You will only get rewarded once you're good at it, once you can provide value. So I want you to look at it as an unavoidable training period that you have to go through. And from what I've noticed is that urgency is one of the best solutions to laziness, because it goes back to how ancient humans react to immediate threat. If you're chased by a lion, do you need motivation to run? If you're not even sure if there's gonna be food on the table tomorrow, then you're gonna make sure that you get up and hunt. Or like, if you're injured and you're bleeding out, are you gonna sit there and decide which hospital is better? Urgency removes overthinking and gives you clarity. It removes the illusion that you have infinite time and forces you to act immediately. So you want to create urgency in your schedule. You want to make your goals the #1 priority. You want to shrink your deadline from I'm gonna do it next week to I'm gonna do it within the next 3 hours, and force yourself to complete them in a short amount of time, regardless of what happens. And you want to create scarcity with time by telling yourself that if I don't do this within the next 3 hours, then I don't get to do this for the next whole week. Because most people, they wish they started something earlier. So imagine if you fall short today, then you don't get to do it for a week, then a month, then 6 months later, and you're still exactly where you are now. Imagine how devastating that's gonna feel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, this might work, maybe it worked, maybe it doesn't. And you're making excuses for you to go back to your regular routine and waiting for motivation to hit you again. My guess is that if you're lazy, you're probably not going to do the things that I mentioned. And even if you did, you wouldn't last long. So in order for urgency to work, you need real life punishments to force that action. So how do we do that? Go to your closest friend or family or a sibling or someone that you can trust. Allow them access to your bank account and explain to them what you're going to do and tell them to hold you accountable. And each time that you fall short or you don't do what you're supposed to do, they get to take $20 from your bank account. This way, they're incentivized to help you and you are expected to work. This is how to effectively put punishments in place so that you don't slip up. Because when you start to pay money, you start to pay attention. The bulletproof way to implement urgency is punishment. If you're serious about change, then this is the fastest, brutal decision that you can make. I think most people in their 20s, they can relate to this because they have this enormous ambition, but they don't have the work effort or they're too lazy to put that ambition to work. So that's why I made this video. And I hope this video brought some sort of value to your life and your journey. Make sure to give this video a like and let this video be a reminder the next time if you ever felt ambitious but lazy again.